Ever get that feel? You know that feeling like you're just rushing through life, missing all those little moments.
Oh, totally.
Like, remember that study? I think it was about commuters. They were so glued to their phones, they completely missed the symphony playing in the subway station.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of scary how easy it is to get distracted, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So today we're diving into something that might help us hit the pause button. Tap into, well, the deeper sense of gratitude, I guess you could say.
Okay, I'm intrigued. What is it?
Okay, so get this. It's called 50 Journal Prompts for Catholic Prayers by Lestallion, apparently.
Interesting. Not exactly what I was picturing. I don't usually associate sales pages for journals, with profound spiritual reflection.
Right. That's kind of what caught my eye. It's like they snuck a whole philosophy of mindfulness between, like, pictures of handcrafted leather.
Subliminal messaging, huh?
Maybe. But seriously, the prompts themselves, they're surprisingly, like, insightful.
I see what you mean. It's kind of like this weird intersection we see now, this whole thing where personal growth and spirituality are all mixed up with, like, everyday products.
Exactly. It's like, here's your fancy journal. Andy, here's the secret roadmap to becoming a more grateful you.
2-for-1 deal.
Right. But for this deep dive, we're going to explore these prompts a little differently. Not as, like, strict religious dogma or anything. More like universal conversation starter.
I like that.
What I found really interesting was the sheer variety. You got categories like letters to God, Christian life, even tough times, like something for everyone,
Totally. And that's what makes this deep dive so interesting. We're not here to preach or anything, just to unpack how these prompts can, unlock a deeper sense of gratitude in anyone's life.
I'm down for that.
All right, so ready to dive into these prompts?
Let's do it.
Okay, so one that really jumped out at me is like, how do you see God in your everyday life?
Ooh, that's a big one.
I know, right?
Yeah.
A little, big G, God-focused, maybe?
Yeah, especially coming from, a source like this.
Exactly. But what if we rephrase it a bit?
Okay, I like where this is going.
Like, instead of God, we say, where do you find wonder or awe in your daily life? It kind of opens things up, don't you think? Totally. It's like that feeling you get when you see, a perfectly formed snowflake or something.
Yeah.
Or like when a piece of music just gives you chills.
Yes. It's about finding those moments of, like, the extraordinary hidden in the ordinary. And it doesn't even matter if you, attribute it to a higher power or just the magic of existence itself.
Exactly. And there are actually a bunch of prompts that seem to play with that idea. There's one, it's like, what small blessings are you grateful for today? Which is cool, right?
It is, because it reminds you that gratitude isn't always about these huge life-changing events.
Yeah, it's the little things, right?
Yeah.
That warm cup of coffee on a rainy Monday morning. Or a good conversation with someone you care about.
Exactly. It's like shifting your focus from what's missing to what's already there. And speaking of shifting perspectives, there's another prompt that dives into something, well, I think we all struggle with sometimes. It asks, what does forgiveness mean in your faith? And then in parentheses, not just Catholic.
I like how they added that.
Me too. Because it pushes us beyond any, like, preconceived notions about what forgiveness should be.
Especially those tied to, organized religion specifically.
Yeah. It's more about, like, a personal exploration. What does forgiveness mean to you, regardless of your background, your beliefs, any of that?
And it makes you realize forgiveness isn't always just about the other person.
It's about you, too. Releasing yourself from all that anger and resentment.
The source actually talks about that. It describes forgiveness as a gift, like you said.
Yeah.
A gift you give yourself as much as the other person.
Because let's face it, holding on to anger, it just eats away at you, doesn't it?
It really does. Like that saying, holding on to anger is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right.
Okay, so there's another prompt I wanted to touch on. It's reflect on a piece of scripture that has been on your mind lately, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, it's a bit more specific.
It is, but I like that it encourages that personal connection.
Right. It doesn't have to be like a literal interpretation or anything.
Exactly. It's about finding meaning in a way that speaks to your journey.
Right. Maybe it's a passage that's always resonated with you or something you stumbled upon recently that just clicked.
Like those whispers from God that the source talks about.
Ooh, I like that.
These moments of clarity or guidance that kind of pop up when we actually slow down and, well, listen.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of these prompts. Whether you connect with them on a spiritual level or through faith or just as a way to cultivate gratitude, they offer these little invitations to, I don't know, tap into something bigger than ourselves.
They do, and that connection, however you define it, it can be really grounding, especially when things feel, I don't know, chaotic or uncertain. Going through these prompts, I keep thinking about, like, finding strength in unexpected places.
Mm.
It reminds me of this time I was so frustrated with this work thing, just stuck.
Ugh, the worst.
Totally. And for some reason, I remembered that prompt about scripture.
Oh, yeah.
Not like preachy scripture, but
Not
a Marcus Aurelius quote popped into my head.
Aurelius. Nice.
Right. It was like, the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way.
Ooh, I like that.
And it like seriously shifted something for me.
It's wild how these little bits of wisdom, they just show up when you need them.
Right?
And it shows you how powerful journaling can be, right? Reflection.
Totally.
Not about having all the answers, but just making space for those insights.
Yes. And that's what I appreciate about this source. Even though it's selling journals, it's also giving you tools, for gratitude, deeper reflection.
Yeah, for sure.
They even have suggestions for using the prompts, which is cool.
Oh, like what?
Like, they say you can use them daily, just a few minutes to jot down thoughts.
Okay, I can see that.
Or even as conversation starters, which I love.
Oh, that's fun.
Right, share those reflections.
It's like they say, gratitude shared is gratitude squared.
Yeah. And if you're all about efficiency, which, let's be real, who isn't these days?
True.
These prompts are a shortcut.
Totally, like a cheat code for introspection.
Exactly. Speaking of, the source leaves us with this question: how do you hope to inspire others with your faith?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Right. And you can think about faith however you want,
For sure.
but it makes you think about your impact,
Definitely.
So as we wrap up this gratitude deep dive,
Loved it.
me too, it's not about like being blissful all the time,
Right.
but just noticing those good moments, even when life's crazy.
Cultivating that awareness, the gratitude, one step at a time.
Beautifully said. And listeners, we want to hear from you. How do you cultivate gratitude?
Yeah, what resonated with you today?
Hit us up on social media, tag us in your posts.
Let's keep the conversation going.
Exactly. Until next time, keep exploring, keep asking questions, and keep diving deep.